We are about to begin our scientific sessions in a while. Our first session will be on the issues and challenges in the food safety. Kindly stay with us. Now we proceed towards our scientific sessions for the day. To begin with, we have our first session on issues and challenges in food safety. We invite Professor Sanjeev Misra, Director AIIMS Jodhpur, and Dr. Arvind Mathur to chair the session on issues and challenges in food safety. We have Dr. Jugal Kishore, Professor, Department of Community Medicine, Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi. He will be speaking on Can We Find Safe Food Anymore?
I have pleasure in introducing Professor Jugal Kishore. I think one has to believe his work, the way he is doing, it is unbelievable because the amount of work which he has done, and he is a prolific writer with innumerable books to his credit. He graduated from Maulana Azad Medical College in 1990 and completed his MD from AIIMS New Delhi, followed by his PhD in psychiatry from Delhi University. And he has also been trained in medical education at Nepal and faculty in Department of Medical Education for last 12 years at MAMMC, and more than 175 research papers to his credit, and has authored 22 books on public health, national programs, social reform and rationality. And he is known for the development of public health education in the country. I'll like to inform that he has also been contributing to the public health education in this city itself also by being associated with various public health programs at Jodhpur. And he has been awarded with several awards, Rashtriya Ekta Puruskar, and also received Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Memorial Teachers Award 2007 and Award for Social Service. It is a privilege to have him with us to deliver his talk on Can We Find Safe Food Anymore? And that's the
Thank you, sir.
Very important for us. So, Professor Jugal Kishore, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Very good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mishra. First of all, I should say thank you to Dr. Toteja ji. His lecture was first and he has given me the permission to deliver this talk. I'll take very short time because, I think whole the day you are going to listen lot of food, how we can make it safe. And inauguration itself is showing that how much the work is done in India and how things are moving and how we have to proceed further. And we have to play a very great role because our population is such a big in the world, and if we have to be healthy, then we have to contribute a lot. Every day, if you see in the newspaper, you'll find so much information about that, how much adulteration is going on, how much junk food our population is taking, and food safety is a major concern now, as Dr. Toteja has said. And when we say the food safe, then we should know what is food and what is safe food. So the food is already defined by our regulation and act, that it's a substance, whether processed or partially processed, unprocessed, whatever it is, which is intended to be consumed, which is also including the modified food also. So any food which is meant for consumption for human can be considered as a food. And the safe food is when the intent is, for consumption and it is acceptable. So safety is a very, very broad term in which one has to see that this is not injurious to health of the individual, whoever is consuming that food, which includes the water. But the unsafe food is actually, when we talk about that, it may contain the poisonous substance or anything which is deleterious to the health, and the food affect the food component, any kind of food component, by other mean or by itself, by rotting of that content of the food, or if the content is cheaper in quality or inferior in quality, that is also included, or something which is added which is not permitted, or it is made something colorful, which can be dangerous to getting it, or it is processed in such a way which is dangerous to the human being, or it may be infected by anything which is of environment which can give rise to infection or infestations, or when it is prepared in a very unconditional or unsatisfactory conditions, or it contains something which is dangerous to the, so you can say that misbranding and misrepresentation all are part of this unsafety of the food. So we can say that actually when it is infected with the pathogens, which could be virus, protozoa, bacteria, parasite, or whatever it is, or we have some kind of toxin or chemicals which could be natural occurring in the environment or added by the human being. So these are all which can give rise to unsafe food. The next issue is that how a person get infected. So when you are consuming the food, so ingestion is the route of transmission, and the way you are consuming, and the person who is giving you that food, if he is infected or not giving you properly, then can give rise to a problem. So you can see that we have a food component and then mode of transmission to the person. So all these things has to play a role when we say safe food. So safe food actually a major issue which need to be handled by whatever method it gives rise to a problem. So when we see it, then we find that actually in history, because of various reasons like the industrialization or urbanization or affluency, now the junk food has become a problem, or international travel, because the person has to travel, many 100 miles per day, or maybe more than that, thousands miles in per day. So he has to come across various kind of food item, and then if it is infected, then give rise to a problem. So these are all major issues which are a major factor of food-borne diseases. The statistic is already, I think yesterday we were discussing the way it is infected, how we can measure it. But it said that almost, I think, 2 million population worldwide are, dying because of food-borne diseases. And yesterday only the journalist was behind me that how much is dying in India. So I said, well, 2/3 of the population which is dying all over the world is, involving Southeast Asia region. And most probably we can say that in Southeast Asia region, the number one is India. So that way he has composed that, line. But anyway, what is important is, yes, we play a significant role in Southeast Asia region, and contribution to this big number is also affecting us. So almost, I think, 200, more than diseases, more diseases are affecting it. When we say which organism, then I think, I need not to say, it is already known to everybody, but those who are not from the medical background, it's interesting to say that actually the bacteria is very, very important, which is causing foodborne disease. Salmonella typhi. E. coli is again fecal contamination, which is major cause. And other one is also a number of, list is very high. The cost wise is, it said that almost $1,249 million are, wasted just because of the cost dealing with the food poisoning. So again, when we talk about that how much economic loss we have because of food-borne diseases, then it is a big one. Now there are various methods, as sir was telling, that nowadays people are using various kind of chemicals to ripen and to color, to make it fresh, and many a time I feel that, I think, why the farmers and then the people are using these all things. Most of the time, I don't think that they know that what they are doing, and that is why the problem is. And many a time, if you see that, if the farmer or say the milkman does not know how to get the milk, and he has come across that, I think, giving the oxytocin injection is going to give the good milk by the cow or by buffalo, he will do it. he is not knowing that what is the implication of using everyday oxytocin to the cow. Similarly, I think most of our farmers does not know that, injecting these kind of chemicals to these food. So what is required is to, I think, most of the time we have to educate them, our, farmers and processors and also the people who are handling the food. Maybe that is most important. There are so many coloring agents. I think, again, because of our consumers have tendency to choose the color which they favor and they like. And because of that, most probably, these colors are used. Again, these colors could be very dangerous. So, saying that, do we have the safe food anymore? That was a question imposed on me. I'll say, no, this is not the right answer. I think we can say, yes, we have the food which need to be made safe. And we are the human being who is going to make the food safe. Nobody else is going to make it safe because we have to consume it. So again, it is at the three levels. One is at the production level, where it is produced, and then we have a process, and then consume. So three major areas are there where the food safety is required. So for farming, and kitchen garden, we have to understand that, WHO has already given 5 keys, and I'll tell you that how we can improve understanding these 5 keys. It is good personal hygiene, which is the most important part in production. So washing and drying hand while you are, going to the toilet, and after that, and handling that raw food or change clothes, and bathing, cutting, when you are having some kind of lesions, should not involve in the process activity. So this is related to personal hygiene, which is most crucial. And it is said that if you have very good personal hygiene and hand washing, I think 80 to 90% of your waterborne and foodborne disease can be cut down. So there are various methods when we are dealing with the cow or dealing with the food items, and then I think these all are important aspects which need to be told to our all people who are producing the food in their areas. Next is protecting the food or field from the fecal contamination. It is found it is a major source of contamination, like the buffaloes or animal fecal contamination to the field, which in our rural area used to be taken as that cow dung used to be used for the fertilizer, but now again they say the organic farming is much better than the other one, but it need to be processed. That is most important, that you can use that one which is organic in nature, but it has to be processed. It should not be used as such in the growing fields. So it has to be separated from, an animal has to be separated from the birds, and the field should also be separated from these animals. And then if it has to be used, then we should use some kind of process, or say some kind of modification is required before using as a fertilizer. Use treated fecal waste. That's the most important part. It should not be just directly used. Evaluate, manage risk from irrigation of water. Like the water which you are using for, I still remember in West Delhi, we used to have that nala, and that big nala used to be in the whole area where it used to supply, and that hole was filled with that all sewage water, and there we used to have a lot of vegetables growing in those areas. And you can imagine what kind of vegetable we used to have in Delhi from East Delhi, but fortunately now it is no more, and we have now treatment plants, but not all the nalas have the treatment plant. Again, we have a problem. So if we are supplying the water to the field, then it has to be treated. So that is the most important part when we say about water irrigation and water use for the food production. Next is keep harvest in storage area safe or clean and dry, which can lead to again growing of the insects and all other things. So keeping the things and storing the things in production site in a much dry and cool manner is very, very important. As sir was telling that you will find all grain just close to the railway track is again a problem for us. We don't have much of the storage, proper storage of our food item. That is a problem in India. So proper storage is most important in India. Next is at the production and transport level. We have a strict legislation now, but unfortunately, legislation is not implemented properly in most of the part of India. That's again a big problem. So we have food additives, preservatives are used because it has to be stored for longer period, and because of these preservatives, lot of chemical go into that process and food and the calorie agent, which all may give rise to a problem. So we should have a system where we can check, and yesterday whatever you can do, to the food assessment, whether we can find out the adulterant in the food is just one, method of seeing it. But at various level of process and reaching to the consumer level, we require a lot of, laboratory investigation and inspections and monitoring. Then only, we can ensure the food is reaching to the safe consumptions. Although we have other methods like, it is a state-of-art approach to food safety. That's a hazard analysis critical control point. Is similar to like under the BIS launched this program. Again, this is an accreditation type of program where you can keep control over any hazard which can give rise to a problem to the food. And there are two dairy which are accredited with this system, Punjab and Mother Dairy, Delhi. In whole process you can see that various methods and various stages we require some kind of monitoring and surveillance. When we talk about the consumption level, there are role comes very crucial, and all the doctors, health workers has to play a role where we are coming across with the patient and the public. We have to teach that at consumer level, which is in our hand or in the patient's and a public health hand, what they can do when they are making the food safe. So know your food first, what you are eating. So, you have to read the label, packaging, seeing things that the package is okay, and you know that what you are eating, what is the ingredients or the constituents of that. So that is most important part of food. And then when you are handling it, and consuming it, that is important at the consumption level. The most simple exercise which we can do, I think, this is
फल वाला अपनी रोजी रोटी कमा रहा है, इसमें उसकी कोई गलती नहीं है। ये काम रोकना सरकार की जिम्मेदारी